YouTube is no longer my job.
See, if she doesn't own the fact that this is a result of her own actions, she can't be monetized again. If you don't subscribe, you will be smacked down by the Lord. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel where I share my opinions because I have a lot of them, and a lot of them are about people that regular people don't know. So I'm going to be sharing them with you because this is Uhari's place and land, and I am absolutely excited to have you here because today we are having a bit of a celebration. So let's just jump into it.
And that is because I am currently in a stage of life where YouTube is no longer my job. YouTube demonized me. Sorry, I really did think that was funny because everyone was talking about demonetized, and then this random person put demonized, and it made me laugh.
So 2025 has been an absolute dick. This has not been the best year for me, but there have been some amazing highlights, and today we are going to be talking about one of them because one Amber Reed has been demonetized. Ah, yes, she is demonetized. YouTube has decided that they just no longer want to put ads in front of self-destructive behavior. Well, particular types of self-destructive behavior, like when you take in so many calories and lack motion that you start to expand to a point that harms your organs and general state of life and just adds to general lethargy until you have a completely sedentary lifestyle, addicted to a certain thing that makes you a certain way until you can't even bathe yourself or walk your animals or even apply for any other job that would require the iota of motion, not even standing. Remember when it was oh so shameful to flip burgers at McDonald's? I think at some point Miss Amber told people that they can go flip burgers at McDonald's. Well, here she is, and she would not be able to stand long enough to flip burgers, and that would be the least of her troubles. And she is here today because she brought herself. So let's talk about it. See, karma is something that has become a universal saying. It's not even so much restricted to the Buddhists or the Hindus or the people from whom it comes originally. It has been taken to mean basically that justice will find a person. Some people believe that karma is some external supernatural force that exerts justice upon people who have caused a lot of destruction to others. But let's be honest, that's not how life turns out. A lot of a lot of antisocial people are rewarded for their antisocial behaviors. There are some people who live and die, and we never really get any sense of justice or retribution for their actions. So that is not really the kind of karma that I'm going to be talking about today. The kind of karma I'm talking about is basically the simple principle that actions have consequences beyond the moment in which they occur. That is the central tenet of karma. It is trying to get human beings to understand that their actions, which cannot be perceived with their eyes, the actions that happen in our social sphere, the actions that happen because of things we decide and things we say, these things that do not leave emissions that can be seen, like a car with smoke, like a car with smoke coming out of the exhaust. You don't see it immediately. But just because you can't see the effects of the decisions you take in the moment does not mean that that energy that you have put out through those particular decisions isn't going to find you. Time is relative to so many things. In this particular case, for years, this woman got away with behavior that today has kicked her out of making money. That content has always been destructive, always. And it made her so much money that she lorded over people, money that she lorded over us, money that she squandered and apparently didn't save. As so many people who work hard felt a sense of injustice, like, damn, I wish I could just sit and make money for nothing. There were diminishing returns for that behavior. Because although in the moment she was making money, now in the future, her ability to make money has been completely stripped of her. But you know what isn't? The weight she gained while making that money. So in the moment, it was so much money, but it's money that she didn't even put to proper use. Again, karma. How you choose to handle the moment can dictate your future. I retract that statement. How you choose to handle your moment will dictate your future. It is seldom that you can wake up in a place that you didn't go to. Motion is incidental. Things will always move. Days come and go because the earth is just rotating and rotating. There's nothing we can do about these 365 to 366 days that come. It is natural. So yeah, motion is a complete guarantee, but direction, that is relative to the person who is moving. When somebody takes complete control of somebody's motion, I don't know, say through something like slavery, they can dictate the future of that person. By taking the person's moment, they take their power to use it to make something greater for themselves. But this has not been slavery. Amber has had freedom of direction, freedom of how to use her money. She could have decided to save money in that moment, but she did not. And now she's begging for money. She can't use her PayPal because it was suspended because of decisions she took. Now she can't use her Venmo because of decisions she took. Cultivating this energy, this audience, monetizing extreme hatred for you, acting in ways you knew would cultivate the hatred, because the hatred was attention and the attention was views and the views were money. But here's the problem. And this happens with a lot of people in life. When you lack self-awareness, you can attribute your success to you. When in reality, sometimes we are successful due to things that we didn't directly earn. People who are born rich look successful, but that's not something that they earned. And if that money is taken away from them and they didn't understand this and they didn't develop themselves, they didn't save, they didn't get skills that could help them, they cannot recover. Because this entire time, they had something that they did not create. Amber did not create the platform that was sustaining her. That's the thing with YouTube. The rules adapt to profit. And if YouTube feels that a certain behavior or topic is going to get in the way of their profit, they will change it. Their rules aren't about morality, they're about monetization. The same thing that Amber is trying to do now, which is change herself to adapt to the new terms and conditions, is what YouTube does when it feels like its money is about to be taken away. It changes in ways that will protect that interest. This is called adaptation. A lot of people misinterpret the theory of evolution. It's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the most adaptable, because it takes one change to completely obliterate an environment that you were adapted to, an environment in which you succeeded. People like Nikocado Avocado succeeded so much, and then all of a sudden YouTube changed its rules, and that money that was coming in didn't come in the same way. So Amber confused her success on YouTube as something that was linked to her directly, and it wasn't. And when you are not grateful, you can fall very easily because you won't understand what it is that's holding you up. It's a universal principle. What we're seeing now, what we see, or what I have observed over years of watching YouTube, years of watching YouTube's terms and service morph into different things and different ways in order to retain money. I have seen many creators adapt. I've seen many creators move into different types of content in order to retain their monetization because a certain genre falls out of favor or becomes oversaturated to a point that it isn't very profitable anymore, or if they feel like they are so psychologically, emotionally drained by the kind of content that made them successful and they want to explore something else, they can do that. That's a job. That's something that you're interested in. When you are adapting to your environment, it means you have an awareness to it, a connection to it. Amber lost that connection. Here's the problem. If the most money you are making comes from people who hate you, if that platform no longer gives you money, you ask your audience to help you with money, you don't see the same level of support because you misunderstood. People who don't like you aren't likely to send you money to support you. It will be the community you nurture. But when you have behaved in a manner where you did not supply enough worth to your audience, where you did not adapt to your boss, to this amazing, incredible, miraculous kind of existence where you get paid for filming yourself. For years, this woman didn't need to enter into the employment market because of you. You watching her, you giving her attention, that made her money. She despised people, the audience. And now, when I say this is karma, I don't mean it's a result of an external force that brings justice into the world. When I was 18, something very horrific happened. And not to me directly, it was an event in the country. And it depressed me and it threw me for a loop. And at the time, I was a Christian. So I went to my faith and to the Bible, praying, trying to figure out, like, how does this work? How can this be better? How do we prevent this? Am I not praying enough? Are we not praying enough? I went into book of Ecclesiastes, and it said something that liberated me. It said, meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. And then it also talks about how good and bad things happen indiscriminately to people. I understood then that no amount of prayer was going to control other people's actions. No amount of prayer was going to keep that kind of incident from happening again. If everything is meaningless and there is no force that is exacting justice, there is power in that, because I realized justice exists if I seek it. If there are no rules to this thing, if it truly is meaningless, then I can give it meaning. I can decide what this means. I can decide how I'm going to respond to negative events that happen, because it's just a fact of life. And in that way, I am able to gain a sense of agency, because there is no devil. I am my own devil. And in understanding that, I've been able to improve my life, because I'm not looking to an external force to give me or to protect me or save me. I'm not trying to attack anybody's faith or a relationship with God or anything of this sort. I am trying to talk about a psychological concept, a philosophical concept that I was able to garner from a book called the Bible. This is something that exists irrespective of faith. You don't have to believe in something to get the wisdom from it. So what I have experienced, please don't personalize that. I'm only saying this because I'm trying to bring you into my perspective of this thing called karma. The only justice that exists is the one that we seek out. That's why it's a result of people reporting her. It's a result of people suing these platforms, people saying that, listen, this is not okay. We don't want to support this. And you know what happened? YouTube adapted, and they were like, okay, we will no longer profitize it. And it was like, okay, cool. Then we understand. And then people, the advertisers will still be there, and they will gain the favor of people again. That's how you do it. That's called adaptation. And I believe that we as individuals need to do more adapting. And I, if anything, would like to impart through this video that the individual is so powerful. But more powerful than the individual is the collective. And when people unite in one thing and synchronize their actions, like people mass reporting, like people making lawsuits, that's what changes, because that means we can change the environment that these tech companies exist in. We get to dictate to them what the TOS will be by saying this is not going to be profitable anymore. I hope that this creates a sense of precedent of how to create change in our lives, in our society, and in our content in YouTube. I am 700 hours away from being monetized. I am absolutely excited. I would like to thank everybody who is engaged with my content. You guys are the reason that I am here today. Every second counts. And I don't want to take this for granted, because you guys are giving me an opportunity to make money for speaking. That's insane. That's really insane for that to be available to me. I'm a regular person. I don't have like an agency paying for my content to be pushed. YouTube, thank you, YouTube, for giving me this platform and this opportunity and this chance. YouTube is what's pushing me, and it's pushing me based off of people. Your choices to watch me, because you're powerful. And the forced isolation that so many forces in society have created, all this hatred that we exist in, it's to isolate each other from each other. The collective is so much more powerful than one individual. I am so proud of everybody at every point. I'm proud of everybody because the decisions that they took resulted in this moment. People who weren't even connected to this community, who don't even know about Gore World or Amberlyn Reed or all of these things. People were fighting for the general principle, the protection of children. The fact that we don't want to popularize this type of behavior that has had such a ripple effect. So, thank you for every positive thing you do ever. Because that energy really, it finds its way back. That's karma. Put in well for yourself, and you can create well for yourself. I think the biggest way I learned that concept was losing 120 plus pounds. I was able to understand karma because I know that I control my weight completely. I know what makes my weight go up. I know what makes my weight go down. I have control over that. Me. I learned that. So when I am in the future and I don't feel good about myself and I don't fit into my clothes anymore, I'm not going to blame anyone other than this person. Karma is the road to accountability. I think something that is, I wouldn't say sad because I don't really feel sad for Amber, but something that I would find sad if it happened to somebody for whom I felt empathy is just how blind and just blind she is to her own actions, how much of a victim she sees herself as, because she has essentially taken away her own agency. If she doesn't own the fact that this is a result of her own actions, she can't be monetized again. If she is blaming reaction channels, she can't be monetized again. Because the reality is, the reason YouTube gave her attention may have been mass reporting. But it took humans who went through her content, not a bot, and they decided that it violates rules she could have adapted to. But she didn't. Instead, she blamed people who aren't the problem. And if you blame somebody who isn't the problem, you're never going to experience the liberation and fruits of the solution. My name is Uhari. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me your attention. 700 hours away and I will be monetized, and I promise to never take it for granted. And I also promise to pretend. I also promise to never pretend to rescue an animal and then subject it to sad conditions. If you know, you know. If you don't, FFG. I'm coming for you. Put egg on my face. Make me look dumb. Defend you because you lied. And then think you can come back and not apologize. And be like, I don't know what to do because I was so sad. So I just lied for over 2 years. But as for you, this is care, not love. I don't love you because I don't know you, and I don't want to create or foster a parasocial environment in which you one day feel so connected to me that you start to defend my negative actions, because that's a cult. May you never attach to me in that manner. Hurry out!